been literally over a decade since we've had smartphones in our pockets. And after a decade of smartphones and screens, I am fatigued, I am tired, and I feel disconnected. So we're in 2019, and we all know what that feeling's like with our phones. And instead of me sharing what that's like, I'm going to share a poem on how I feel about my phone. You guys ready? Yeah. Okay. Every morning when I wake, my phone goes straight up to my face, like makeup making me disgraced, 'cause it covers all my time alone. But it's loneliness I feel. But online I can't be that real, 'cause I gotta show my best face, my best case, and all my goals and accolades. But checking in means checking out to what this life is all about. Face to face and holding hands and hanging outside with our friends. So listen to these words I state and make them yours and yours to break. Say them with me, say them proud. Grab your phones out and sing out now. Disconnect me. Oh, disconnect me. Take my phone and shut it down. I plead these words, I plead them now. But up and down my eyes they go, scrolling on from post to post. These aimless updates make me choke, but still I choose to hold this phone. My buzzing friend, he makes me sick. He's in my hand or he's on my hip. He's growing and he's got a grip, like King Kong pounding with his fists. And emergencies, they're coming from my daily feed. My calendar, it cannot breathe, and my mind is collapsing at its knees. So listen to these words I state and make them yours and yours to break. Say them with me, say them now. Grab your phones out and sing out now. Disconnect me. Oh, disconnect me. Take my phone and shut it down. I plead these words. I pray them now. Disconnect me. Guys, we are in the midst of a need for a digital wellness across the globe. And I'm going to walk you through where we're at right now, and we're going to jump all the way 15 years later into the year 2034. Digital wellness is a thing, and it is a big thing. In fact, the iPhone 27Z was just released with new charging adapters, might I add, so that 26Y you got last year is no longer compatible. But the thing about it is that smartphones aren't as popular to the college students as they were in 2019. In fact, 50% of college students don't even have smartphones. They're a generation that's known as dippies or digital hippies. And after watching their parents grow up with severe depression, anxiety, exhaustion, and even high levels of suicide, they said enough is enough. We got to push back. There's a difference. Let's get out in nature. Let's feel the earth that we've been given and the air that we can breathe freely. So these dippies are on a totally different mission. And the government is also incorporating new policies that take digital wellness into account at the workplace. In fact, a Harvard Business Research study came out that said the number one variable to economic prosperity is family structure. So at 4 o'clock every day, people go home to be with their friends and family, and their devices are left at the office. They incorporated another policy, the government stepping in. There's a new policy called the email abuse policy. So each individual can send only 5 emails a day, forcing you to be thoughtful with the words you put on the screen and acknowledge that what you share and what you send has to be filled with intention and clarity. And beyond that, this is big news for Android. They have come out with a phone that locks you out if you are too stressed. So if you find yourself going for one more scroll or one more text and you're feeling stressed, it knows and it shuts you out. Guys, this is the future of digital wellness in 2034. But the truth be told is I can't predict the future. And just like the great American businessman Peter Drucker, predicting the future is like driving down a country road with no headlights, looking out the back mirror. It just can't be done. But predictions have been something that have been going on for a long time. And in fact, in 1965, on the cover of Time magazine, they were talking all about the future of computers and innovation and automation. And IBM economist Joseph Frankfin said that by the next century, automation will take over and computers will be so helpful that we will be broken down to a 20-hour work week, and that we'll have so much free time that we will be bored. Right? That's a far cry from where we are at right now. As I began thinking about this message, I realized that technology invasion and screen addiction and all these things has been a topic that's been talked about many times on TED. In fact, there's a whole playlist that talks about the pros and cons of our digital life. But guys, I want you to step out of the current state and look into the future of digital wellness. You see physical wellness, emotional wellness, financial wellness. We understand these concepts. But what about our digital wellness? How are our devices and our screens and the content we view impact our mind, body, and spirit? And how do we as a society step into the future to know that there's a better way to be connected? Because technology is not going away. We just need to get more human-centric with it. I started my journey in digital wellness over 10 years ago. I studied psychology and neuroscience at Albion College, and then came out of school, went to massage therapy school, and then I went back and got a master's in technology systems. And what I realized is that the psychology of technology is a thing. And I launched a project with a friend that allowed you to self-manage your time online. So you could set a timer, you could block websites that were time-sucking, and most importantly, you could track your mood. So back in 2007, we were trying to get people to say, hey, when I look at Facebook or when I look at a certain site, here's the mood that I feel. The funny thing is 12 years later, the emotional data that Facebook and other social media sites are mining are so rich and so valuable that at any point, at any time across the globe, it can give you the emotional state of the users on Facebook. So think about that, you guys. How does the internet and the content we view impact our emotion and mood? And how do we take shifts into the future so that digital wellness is a way of life? We teach it in our schools. We teach it in our communities. It's cool to be digitally fit. And in fact, the best TED Talk I saw in 2017 was all about how our screens are making us less happy. And Adam Alter points out that the average 24-hour workday from 2007 to 2017, for the most part, didn't change. And what I mean by that is our time at the office, our time commuting to work, our time surviving what he deems sleeping and eating, going to the grocery store, etc. Those things remain relatively fixed. But what changed was our personal space on the far left there, right? And the red indicates our screen and social media usage. So as our personal time became inundated with our screen and social media, we've lost our ability to find time for ourselves and to develop the habits and hobbies and reflections and thoughtful things about our identity and worth that makes us who we are. So Adam's work pioneered that, hey guys, we got to start paying attention to our digital wellness. And I believe that the best way to look at the future is to study our past. You ready for this? This is how people used to incorporate safety in car seats, right? Literally, a 3-year-old was strapped down there. It wasn't until 1964, after 50 years since the original Model T, that seatbelts were even incorporated into cars, which meant that you had 5 decades of the American family dream and the global dream was unsafe. Recycling in the 1980s, I remember coming home and teaching my parents in the late 80s, reduce, reuse, recycle. They looked at me like I was crazy, right? So our kids were teaching our parents ways to change the future for the better of our environment. But probably the best example to look at is the way that we used to embrace cigarettes. This is a picture of 2 nurses smoking on their break at the hospital. We smoked in airplanes, in elevators, in schools, everywhere people smoked. You had babies telling their pregnant mother, hey, just light up a Marlboro, be cool, chill out, take a break, and then breastfeed me. You had doctors telling their patients, hey, this is the best brand of cigarettes to smoke because it is less irritating. And you had dentists saying, smoke these filtered cigarettes because you know what, they're not going to stain your teeth as yellow as the competitors. So this was just a few years ago, and now if we look at our screens and nicotine, you see that there's a very close parallel. Just look at this, guys. Look at these imageries. The touchscreen generation. Toddlers being spoken to through iPads to set up as pacifiers. You have the family vacation on the beach, watching the ocean roar through Snapchat, right? As you get sand in your charging ports, right? This has got to shift. You feel it. I feel it. We know it. The future of digital wellness is coming, and it's up to us to shape it. And the only way we can do that is to begin predicting and putting energy and effort into that. So I want to show you that the folks on the screen, these are folks right now teaching, preaching, educating, inspiring all around digital wellness. You've got authors, you've got Congress people looking to do legislation around digital citizenship. You have folks incorporating health and wellness into the screen habits, just like myself. The future is coming. You've got conferences, events, nonprofits, people combining their energy to say, how do we create a more human-centered experience? And how do we make sure technology doesn't control us and shape our identity, but instead give us tools, not just temptations, to get consumed into? Right now you've got Android and Apple showing ways that you can have digital well-being with giving you controls to set timers, things that you guys might have on your phones right now. You even have the dumb phone that's just as coolly and slick designed as a smartphone. It's called the Light Phone. Anybody here have the Light Phone 1 or 2? Okay, essentially what it does is the Light Phone 2 just gives you the ability to send texts, make calls, and use GPS. So when you want to go light, if you're going away for the weekend, if you're just trying to hang out with a friend, you just grab your Light Phone and leave your smartphone at home. So people are innovating to say, how can we create a more human-centered experience, and how does digital wellness be in the forefront of our design? You've got Bose doing things like giving you audio and the ability to take calls in your sunglasses. And I know augmented reality is making its same way into your sunglasses. And even though this might seem like a step backwards, it potentially could be a step in the right direction, because it keeps your screen in your pocket. It allows you to make eye contact, right? Have you heard the saying, your eyes are the gateway to your soul, right? Have you heard the saying, your forehead is the gateway to your forehead? Right? And mine's rather shiny, right? I can see it. I'm glaring off you guys, right? The future is here. We have to shape it. I read an article the other day that said that personal assistants, Siri and Alexa, by the year 2021, are going to surpass the amount of people on the globe. Okay, let me say that a different way. Smartphones took 30 years to get to that kind of critical mass. Personal assistants are going to take 15 years, half the time. So the neat thing is that some people are theorizing that websites are going to go away, because you're going to get your information, you're going to get your access just through your personal assistants and whatever future artificial intelligence and bots that you're interacting with. So I'm going to leave you with this, guys. The future of digital wellness is ours to shape as a society. It's coming. As you guys can step into it, just remember that being with your family, being in community, being with your friends, making time for fun, making time for your digital wellness, which is simply just your time away from the screen, in the reality with the now, with the present, with your heartbeat, and with your breath. And I'll end on this quote. It says, the purpose of thinking about the future is not to predict it, but to raise people's hopes. So I hope that I've raised your hopes for the future of digital wellness, and I thank you so much for your time today.